guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's Mental Monday. So, we are continuing the forensic psychology, criminal profiling series. And today I actually wanted to talk about the different aspects of the crime that a BAU agent looks at, or a profiler looks at, whatever agency or sphere of criminal psychology, criminal justice they work in, what they look at and what kind of questions they try to answer. So they're kind of phases of the crime that they try to flesh out what happened, what caused it, what were the circumstances it happened under, all of those types of questions to really figure out an answer, who could have done it, and why they would have done it. Why can be very important because it can be super telling of who might have done it, and it can either help rule people out or it can help confirm people. The kind of 4 different aspects to it are before the murder, during the murder, how they may or may not have disposed of the body, and after the murder. And I have really been finding some cool resources on this stuff on both the APA's website and the FBI's website. There are some really cool resources to get some good information off of. So click the link in the description box and go check it out for yourself. This one, I've gotten a lot of information from APA as far as what generally is how BAU agents or profilers look through the crimes. What was the perpetrator's motive? What made them even start the whole process? What circumstance were they in at the time that brought those actions about? Was it premeditated? Did they have to bring stuff with them? Did they use what was around them? Was it at a moment's notice type thing, or was it planned? Stuff like that. So they're looking for stuff during the crime as far as what was the actual method of killing the person or attacking the person, and who was the victim. So victimology. That's important, like we've talked about, because those can have super specific signatures to the person. They can have just that slight personal touch that honestly can give the person away, because that can be what makes or breaks that crime for them. That's the part of it that ends up being important to them. And if there's a victimology pattern, you know what type of person they are trying to go after. So then you could look at body disposal. Body disposal becomes important because it can show if somebody is remorseful for the crime or not. It can show how somebody feels about the person they killed, whether it's a whole system and they're just like attacking people left and right, whether they try to hide it like they're remorseful, whether they leave it out in plain sight and are almost challenging people to find them, or so confident that they won't get caught that they don't worry about it. And the things they do with the body can also show respect or disrespect. You know, how they treat the body. If they're just carelessly thrown, if they're left in a compromising position, it's very telling about the relationship between the criminal and the victim. And it can say a lot about how the criminal was feeling after the murder. So then you have the after the murder actions. And what this usually entails is maybe how long they wait in between. If they move to a different location, if they're one that's moving, or if they get involved in the investigations at all that are going on, if they are seeking the attention of the police in any way, if they're contacting the police in any way, what that contact looks like. One of the first cases this brings to mind for me is the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer loved sending notes to the police, and he was just taunting them. He was very, very confident that he would not get caught. He was very, like, catch me if you can towards the police, and he was very clever in how he did his thing. It was a very difficult case to crack. They still have never found him or found out who was the Zodiac Killer, although because of him stopping, they assume that he either went to jail for another reason, which actually isn't all that uncommon, or died because he stopped. And the profile they had for him was one that it was obsessive, and so he wouldn't have just stopped on his own, which is a very interesting aspect to the after actions also, because that can end up, while it's good that they stopped, that can end up hurting your case if it takes away your opportunity to catch them. After the fact, there's, I think, a little conflict that probably most profilers feel, most cops feel, and they show it on Criminal Minds pretty well, where, you know, you don't want another person's life taken, but you need more information. And that's a difficult spot to be in. So while I'm sure the cops were very glad that nobody else got hurt, him stopping takes away that avenue of information on him, that resource of information on him to find out more and add to the information they had to be able to catch him. So it was very, very interesting with the Zodiac, the contact he had and just stopping. Those are examples of key actions that they look for. Do they contact the police? Are they trying to insert themselves into the investigation? Because that can tell a lot about them. And that then, if they profile the criminal as being somebody that would do that, that's when the cops start looking at who's coming forward with information and how they are acting within that realm. So it all becomes very, very intriguing to me. And I think that can say so much and really give you just, all of that gives you such a wealth of information to try to figure out the person, to try to get ahead of their actions and get ahead of their mentality and what their plan is. And it's a very, very tricky yet interesting thing. You know, they say don't psychoanalyze psychos, and that's kind of exactly what this is doing. In a nutshell, that is what they look for over the different phases of a crime. Again, I will link where I have read up on it, and obviously there are amazing examples of all of this in Criminal Minds if you are interested in that show. Gotta plug it, of course. I hope you liked this video. I hope it gave you some good information, good food for thought, just a new perspective on all of that profiling, criminal psychology thing, and what cops look for and do to solve a murder and to catch a serial killer. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. Leave any questions or topics you have under this that you would like to see a video on. And if you are not already subscribed to my channel, click the screen and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!